Hello everyone, and welcome to the tutorial where I want to teach you something about how you can design your own graphics for your social media without having to use Photoshop. Now we know Photoshop is not an easy software to deal with. You need to learn it and be quite creative for you to come up with something really nice looking. Now that's not for everyone. Now you're so lucky because you can design your own nice looking graphics for your social media advertising or for your websites by just using Canva.com, which is a service that allows you to design your own graphics. Now these graphics could be social media graphics, could be posters, banners, flyers, presentations, and so on and so forth. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is to basically just go to canva.com on your browser. I'm in Firefox right now. So canva.com. Alright, and then the next thing you need to do is get started by actually creating our account. I'm just going to supply my name here. I'll just say, okay, my name is Alexander. What do I do? Basically, I have a small business. And we can go ahead and say get started. Alright. So we could sign up using Google, or we can just throw in an email and the password. I'm just gonna use my email. So me at ntembenuzeni.com, and I'm just gonna sorry for that. I'm just gonna have to put a valid and @ sign here. All right, my password. I'm just gonna have to generate a password. Good, and then I'm gonna say I'm not a robot. All right. Oh, okay. So now captcha, crosswalks. I don't know. Let's see that, and that's great. Verify, and we're good. So sign up with email. He wants to save the username and password. Yes. All right. And that's it. So the next thing is basically saying we can invite our team. Now, for us to be able to have a team here, it would have to be a paid account. So I'll just go ahead and skip this. And basically it says we can now get started designing something. All right, I'll just, for getting started, let me see what we have. So you can design things like Instagram posts or logos, Facebook posts, Facebook covers, social media graphics or flyers. We also have, now these are the most common for small businesses since it's the profile that I use. But it's been broken down into social media, some documents that you want to print, or something personal like cards you want to send, or calendars. All right, anything about education like schedules, worksheets. Look, we have lots of stuff here for marketing, probably like logos or posters or flyers and so on and so forth. I'm just going to go ahead and start with something very basic, and it's going to have to be a probably, let's say it's a Facebook post. So I'll click Facebook post, and this will take me to now the designer view. Okay, so now that it's loaded, you can see that we now have the interface, and on the left hand side we have, let's start from the top side. Okay, so from the top side we can go back to the home. All right, we'll see that later, but you basically can go to File and basically see some different options. For example, this is a Facebook post, and these are the sizes. The great thing about Canva is that it actually, when you select a design, it already creates the base size for that design, which is quite great. And probably you may want to show your margins, and probably you may want to show print bleed. Basically, if you print, where is it going to end? I'm just going to take out print bleed because I'm not going to print this. And you can also create a new design from here. You may want to resize this to another size, but it's only available for paid. So whatever you see that has this crown here means that you need to upgrade to a paid version. Now here you can enter the name of the graphic. So let's say March sale, something like that. And once we have finished our design, we could basically download it by clicking the download button here. But right now, our design is empty, so we wouldn't want really to download it. Right, but also you have options here where you can actually publish it directly to your social media, like on the Facebook page, on Twitter, or on LinkedIn profile, or LinkedIn company page. There are all these integrations that we have here, which is really neat. Now, on the left-hand side, you have different portions of the designer. The first thing you have is templates. So this is basically where you start from. You select a template. So we selected social media. So there are so many things like sale Facebook post, Halloween Facebook post, food Facebook post, and so on. And there are so many within these categories. As you can see, there's an all button here. For example, if I click sale Facebook post, then I have so many different templates that I could just click and start from there, right? So usually that's what I do. I simply click on one design and then simply edit the text, the images, and so on, and probably the colors if possible. Okay? But apart from that, you can also go ahead and browse the elements. So you have different elements that can be added to your design. So, for example, you can add photos. All right, we have photos, and you can also add different graphics. So let's go back to all, where you can actually see there's photos. If I click all, I'm going to basically be able to see all 3 photos that I can embed on my design. There are grids. So grids basically allow you to create some advanced layouts, okay, on your page. So if I select a grid, I can drop in images on it, and then those images will be aligned nicely. And then you have shapes. If you go to O again, you get so many different shapes. You can actually design charts from here, and different lines and frames. A frame is basically where you want to maybe have an image to look round. So you grab a frame and you drop in the image there. I'm going to show you in a moment. Right now, let's just go ahead. So you have different illustrations and icons, and basically, I love Canva. This is just a section of showing your love for Canva. You want to add it on your design. Let's continue. Then you have text. You can add text on your design. First of all, you can add by simply saying, okay, I want to add a heading or a subheading or a little bit of body text. Or you could simply grab one of these text templates and simply edit, type whatever you want to add. Then you have backgrounds. So, for example, right now our background is just white. So we could basically choose either you want to use images. For example, if I click on this image, that is going to be added as a background. Isn't this nice? So it's added as a background right away. We could even change colors and overlay colors, something like that. I'm just going to get it back and click away. But you could also use a solid color. So if I go to solid color and you pick a color that you want, then the whole background is just going to be a complete solid color. All right, so we started with just adding the colors, but let's go on. Now we have uploads. On uploads, basically you can add your own images. For example, your own logo and so on that you would like to basically use as part of your design. Then we have folders where you could actually create, you can create folders, especially if you have a paid account. But right now, because we don't have a paid account, it's a free account, we cannot add folders. There's more stuff, but all these other more stuff are only available if you have a paid account. So how does it work for you to design a graphic in Canva? Let's get started. First thing you would do is obviously what we have already done at the moment, which is you select the type of graphic that you want. The next thing, like my favorite, is basically how you select the template that you would want to use. And then, for example, I'm going to go ahead and say muffins, and then I'll just click this one. All right, it's going to add all the stuff already. You can see here. I'm just going to wait for it to load the whole design, everything, the fonts and the images and something like that. Great. So we now have a nice looking graphic. Right. So the next thing that we would do is to edit the text and the images we have right now. So I'll go ahead and say, for example, success muffins. and then probably here I'll say okay, say invitation to our bake sale. All right, invitation to our bake sale. All right, let's see. So invitation, I may want to, now you can see the N is bleeding next to this. I could make this a little bit bigger, all right, but it's also growing together with the font. So I may want to highlight that, select that, and change the font. So whatever you have selected on the canvas, for example, if I select this text, you will see the properties at the top here. So this is the font. I could change it to any font that I would like. They have lots of fonts, lots of nice fonts that you can use. For example, I could take this one. All right, that's nice, but then probably the size is too big. So I could go ahead and change my size to, let's change it to something like 42. Right, I think that's perfect. Or probably let's make it bigger, 48. How about that? I think that's great, isn't it? Great, and get up to 30% off. Okay, whatever. Let's edit this, and okay, I'm just gonna undo that by using Control Z on my keyboard, and then we'll select. All right, so I could say visitors at Gateway Mall for our bake sale and get 20% off. All right, that's pretty. Now the next thing you want to do is probably, you can change the colors. For example, I can change the color of the text to something else. So first of all, I have to highlight that information and go at the top and change the color to something different. You can choose all the swatches we have here. For example, I can make it that or that. Let's see how it looks like. Doesn't look nice. Doesn't look contrasted with the background. But you can also click the plus sign and select whatever color you want. If you already have your brand colors, then you can simply enter them in the hex codes, if you know that. Okay, so probably let's try something different. So that color or this color, or okay, I'm just gonna go back to the previous color we have. I think this is perfect. It blends well with the cupcake. All right. Now, what else can you do? You can change the alignment. You can make things bold and so on. You can make things as a list, and there is more. You can change the position to make things go back on the back of other elements, and so on and so forth. Right. So the next thing we should do is probably change the picture. Now the picture is nice, but you can see there is basically the word Canva here. And if you have something like this, it shows that this picture has to be bought. All right. So right now, if I go to publish and say download, you see that it says, okay, there is one premium image, and which I would have to do one-time use at $1. So I don't want that. So I don't want that. Otherwise, if I still export this, it's going to have this watermark. So what do? We go to elements. All right. Under elements, we go to photos. And I'm just going to go ahead and search. So I'll search for cupcake. All right. So we actually have other nice free cupcake images. Like we have this cupcake right here. We have those beautiful cupcakes. So many different cupcakes, and these are free images that we could use. I'm going to use this one. It looks really cute for me. So all you do is drag it and drop it in place like that. And as you can see, that's perfect. If you want to edit the position of this image, you can double click it and basically just try to move things around. So first of all, you double click and move things around. I like how it looks like. This is really perfect. All right. So once you do this, it means you're done. You're perfect done. If you want to add other things, like you want to add more text, you can go to text and say, okay, I'm just gonna add some body text, and I'll type in there. So just click it. It gets added to the graphic, and say for example, T's, let's say T's, yeah, I hate T's and C's, but anyway, T's, probably, and C's apply. All right, so you can basically click that and probably put it at the corner, something like that, and we change the color. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose a white for that, and as you can see, that's perfect. I could also change the font if I want, and go ahead and say, okay, what font should I use? Let me use Aleo Light, and all right, I guess that's perfect. So as you can see, we have our graphic. All right, you can add other things and so on, but this is basically it. And you basically just go ahead and say publish and go ahead and download. And now we don't have any picture to buy. You go ahead and click download, and as it exports, you can see it gives you a quote. It always seems, oh, it's gone, no problem. So go ahead and save that, and wait as it's downloading right now. So and then I close this. So this is as simple as it gets in as far as designing your graphics concerned. So later I'm going to be explaining, but I'm just going to be showing you now how we come up with a different design from this.